All right, welcome back. So today, we're diving into a source that is, well, it's pretty out there. We're going to explore yoga, but not from some human guru. Oh no. Our guide today is a master of ancient wisdom, a self-proclaimed reluctant yoga practitioner named Zoran the Dragon. Yep, you heard that right. A dragon's take on yoga. Let's see what he's got for us.
And boom, right out of the gate, you get a feel for Zoran's whole vibe, don't you? He's like, haha, you mortals want me to explain this? You can just feel that slight arrogance, right? But what's really cool is how he sees these poses. They're not just stretches to him, they're a treasure map. And he's let's say our slightly grumpy but unbelievably wise guide to digging for that treasure.
And this, right here, this is the whole game. This is the core premise of everything Zoran is teaching. We're being asked to completely reframe how we think about this practice. This isn't just about getting a good stretch or being flexible. According to our dragon friend, each and every pose is an alchemical formula. It's like a key, a specific recipe designed to unlock a real transformation from the inside out.
Okay, so like any great alchemical process, you can't just jump to the end. It all starts with building a solid, energetic foundation. This is step one, the groundwork for everything else to come.
So our first foundational pose is called Swastikasana. And, at first glance, it just looks like a simple cross-legged sitting pose, right? But Zoran explains there's so much more going on. It's really about creating this incredible structural integrity, a stable triangular base that allows the body's subtle energy channels, what they call nadis, to line up just perfectly.
And of course, this is where Zoran's personal experience makes things, well, really interesting. I mean, think about it. Adapting a human pose for a dragon's body. The tale, he says, was particularly complex. He even admits that his first few tries caused what local records called unusual seismic activity. I love that. But then he figures it out. He discovers that curling his tail in a certain way actually enhanced the pose. It's a hilarious picture for sure, but it's a great reminder of how our own unique bodies have to find their way into these ancient shapes.
And he's clear, this isn't an overnight thing. Mastery is a long journey, and Zoran actually breaks it down into phases. For the first month or so, you're just building the foundation, being patient, using props. Then, something really cool happens. You hit this integration phase where, as he puts it, the pose begins practicing you. The whole dynamic flips, and eventually, years down the line, mastery isn't about being able to sit perfectly for hours. It's about being able to access that feeling of groundedness, that stability, anytime, anywhere you need it.
He also gives some incredibly practical tips, comparing our typical human mistakes to his dragon wisdom. He points out how we tend to just wedge our feet into position, like we're assembling IKEA furniture. His correction is so much more poetic. Let them nestle naturally, like a bird settling into its nest. And for posture, instead of slouching or being super rigid, he says to think of your spine as a flame, just rising naturally upward, steady, but never ever stiff.
All right, so once that foundation is solid, the real work can start. We're shifting gears now, moving from stability to strength. Our next section is all about forging that inner warrior, actively cultivating power and discipline from within.
First up, we have Virasana, or hero pose. Zoran doesn't see this as just holding a position. For him, it's the physical embodiment of a warrior's mindset. He calls it relaxed readiness. You're grounded, you're stable, but you're also totally alert and ready for whatever comes next.
And the benefits here, they go way beyond the physical. Yeah, it creates a stable base, but it's really about harnessing and directing your creative energy. Zoran says that by holding this tough pose, you are literally training your mind. You're building what he calls the mental muscle to make conscious choices instead of just having knee-jerk reactions to everything life throws at you.
Next up is Dhanurasana, the bow pose. And the metaphor here is just perfect. You are literally turning your body into an instrument. You become the bow, and your own focused consciousness is the arrow, ready to be launched with incredible precision.
And Zoran's personal experience with this one, it's just wild. Being a creature of fire. He says this pose allowed him to transform his usually scattered flames into flame arrows. These super focused beams of energy that could melt things from far away. Now, for us humans, maybe we're not shooting fire, but it's the same principle, right? The pose teaches us how to gather all our scattered energy and direct it with that same kind of pinpoint accuracy.
Okay, so from that peak of focused, intense power, we're going to pivot to something that seems like the total opposite, the wisdom of surrender. This section is all about this really profound idea that true strength isn't just about tension and fighting for it. It's also about knowing when and how to let go.
And the perfect embodiment of this is Kormasana, the tortoise pose. Think about it. A tortoise pulls into its shell not because it's weak or scared, but because it's wise. Zoran teaches that this pose is the art of sacred strategic withdrawal, turning your attention inward to tap into a really deep well of power.
And his own journey with this pose is, again, both super insightful and absolutely hilarious. He admits his first really successful attempt at the deep version of this pose left him stuck, like completely stuck, for 3 whole days. He literally had to wait for a big rainstorm to get enough lubrication to get himself out. It's just a great, humbling reminder that even for a powerful dragon, the path of surrender takes a whole lot of patience, and sometimes you just need a little outside help.
This power of surrender is also central to the seated forward fold, or Paschimottanasana. Zoran breaks this down into a few layers. So on the physical level, sure, the compression is massaging your internal organs. That's great. But the real magic happens when you bring in the mental attitude of surrender. That's what allows for the deep release of tension. And the result? He says it's a powerful detoxification of what he brilliantly calls energetic fat. You know, all those unexpressed emotions and stagnant energy we just carry around with us.
So, we've built our foundation. We've forged our inner warrior. We've learned the wisdom of surrender. And now, we've arrived at the final, and maybe the most important stage of all, stillness. This is where all that alchemical work gets integrated.
The final pose is probably the one you know best, and maybe the one that's most misunderstood, Shavasana, the corpse pose.
And this is where Zoran delivers his most profound lesson. He warns us, do not be deceived by its apparent simplicity. Lying perfectly still, he argues, isn't just taking a little nap at the end of class. It is the pinnacle of the entire practice. This is the moment where all those alchemical formulas we've been working with are finally allowed to settle, to integrate, and to complete their transformation within us.
Which leaves us with one final, powerful question to chew on. After all the work, all the bending, the strengthening, the surrendering, in that moment of perfect stillness, what is the transformation that is truly being completed? That's a powerful thought to end on. Thanks for tuning in.